Do y'all remember this magazine? I'm sure you do. I told you that I wrote them a nice letter. Well, when they sent the issue for Country Living, they sent the January, February issue. So I guess they felt bad that they messed up. But anyway, I'm just in one of my moods. What can I say? I don't know why people have to be total jackasses, but some of them get off on that. The Sampler, A to Z look at what is in the January February issue, among other seasonal news and notes. They do an A to Z like thing, so it's kind of neat. Let's do it together. A welcome from the editor. Happy 2021. Now that the century is officially old enough to drink, I'm celebrating with a hot toddy, page 24. If there's a toast-worthy takeaway from last year, it's that 2020 reacquainted us with all the joys of country life has to offer. The unfussy appeal of al fresco entertaining. The quiet, reassuring calm of tending to your own match of land, not to mention the feasibility of maintaining 6 feet of distance, or 1 cow apart, as I've heard some say. It's like the whole world was finally let in on our little secret. If you've recently considered this issue one big welcome, we also have baked you a loaf of bread. See page 80. If you were sold already, congrats on being the winding country curve. Whether you're a wide-eyed newcomer or a seasoned small towner, I hope this issue inspires you to embrace the many facets of rural life and reminds you to slow down, appreciate the simple things, because country joys aren't expansive as acreage and New Year's wide open. Okay, so that was the welcome from the editor-in-chief, Rachel Hardage Barrett. B, Backcountry. It shows the date, 1984 of February. On the cover was a kitchen in Westchester County, New York. The issue highlights were an essay on weathermen by Andy Rooney of the 60 Minutes fame, author Mary Emmerling's collected New York City apartment, an ode to the Hitchcock chair. C, the Country Club. Did you know that you could join the community of country living readers for fun perks, virtually happy hours, and behind-the-scenes scoops? Go to countryliving.com/join for all the details. D, did you know the cue to the slow cooker clap? This year marks 50th anniversary crockpot. The cooker was patented in 1940, but it was debuted as we know it in 1971 at the Chicago National Houseware Show. E, the Etsy vendor. Leather maker Kingsley Thompson handcrafts cuff links, bookmarks, wallets, and more at kingsleyleather.etsy.com. F, the Field Guide. Here's where you'd find some of your favorite columns. See how a country scene inspired a cozy reading nook, page 8. Find new ideas and inspirations for quilts on page 13. Check out New Country Uniform on page 19. Brush up on the essential elements on Neutral Farmhouse on page 20. Throw a hot toddy party with Country Living New Parties and Picnics contributor Leela Rose, page 24. With a Nix and Negative Space with a dozen creative ideas for wall decor on page 29. Study up on a vintage syrup tins, page 37. Alongside with other antiques, appraisals, and scout your own dream country home with the real estate listings on page 40. Learn to protect your pets from freezing temperatures, page 42. And G, gather, yeehaw, we're all kicking up our boots in this Nashville twice this June. Join us for the first ever Nashville Experience trip, June 1 through 5th, 1-855-494-8321 at the Country Living Fair, June 4th through 6th, fair.countryliving.com. Horseshoe is for H. Spot the horseshoe in this issue and enter to win a queen pillow top mattress from the new Welcome Home Collection by Country Living. The retail value, $1,409.99. See more details on page 69. J, Junkin. Mary Randolph Carter is the Junkin correspondent at Carter Junk. My perfect wake-up call to the new year is a vintage Cincinnati Red alarm clock. I'm a sucker for anything Cincinnati Reds. Even though I'm a Yankees fan, I couldn't resist that little funny baseball head. I scooped it up at the local yard sale for $1. It joins my other collection of TikToks. It's doing the time on my nightstand atop a stack of old paperbacks. K for kids. After pulling 1 minute too many piling polyester nightgowns over her heads, Jen Pinkston launched this in a line of a 100% cotton gown that passes as day wear on lazy days at shopalama.com. And the Lush listings, just 20 minutes from the hip hamlet of Hudson, New York, This converted public schoolhouse in Ancram, New York, comes complete with a light-filled kitchen and former school bus shed. Consider our hand raised. Agent, the Lily K team at Select Sotheby's International Realty, lilykteam.com. Moving forward. I guess I should be telling you what pages they're on, right? That was page 1, 2, and 5. M. Meet the Masthead. This is Julia Landham, the Associate Art Director. The multi-talented Mississippi native talks country favorites. With a winter staple, I don't leave my house without my Clary collection of all-purpose balm. ClaryCollection.com. State Pride. Marty McCary's pottery makes the only serving bowl worthy of New Year's Day Mississippi caviar. The Dream Home, a low country cottage with a soft chorus of crickets and frogs. In by the numbers. A few stats tied to this issue. 40 gallons of sap required on average to make 1 gallon of maple syrup on page 37. 72 loaves of bread baked and tested and prepped for the quick breads feature on page 80. 90 acres of wide open space you'll find in this issue. Real estate listings, page 40. Oh, on the cover, a warm, inviting South Carolina kitchen by the Historical Concepts and Barbara Westbrook, photographed by Eric Piaski. P for produce. Turn in the seasoned beets into a hearty panzala salad. Toss chopped roasted beets with rye bread, croutons, olive oil, sherry vinegar, sliced onion, and fresh dill. Quilt Square. Country Lanes, a.k.a. Crossing the Square of Pennsylvania, is a twist on the traditional Irish chain that dates back in 1814. R. Required reading. Lum in All Forms is the subject of the new collection of 175 submitted tales selected by the editors of the popular New York Times column Modern Love. While each entry is less than 100 words, the impact is profound. We recommend reading with a hanky. That's $15 at thebookshop.org. Shameless self-promotion. If you're feeling that New Year's makeover itch, don't miss our page 53 downloadable guide to weekend projects. Shop.countryliving.com. And page 6. T for Tunes. Cue up an ode to country life with Country Living's assistant editor Natalie Schumann. Gone Country by Alan Jackson. Mayberry, Rascal Flats. Take a Back Road, Rodney Atkins. Where the Green Grass Grows, Tim McGraw. Country Bound, Brent Cobb. Church in a Chevy, Jordan Davis. Where the Blacktop Ends, Keith Urban. Boondocks, Little Big Town. Country Line, Sugarland. Ask a Vet, Tricia Early. And she says, our animal expert shares things to keep in mind before bringing home a hedgehog. American pygmy hedgehogs are considered domesticated. When handled frequently and fed properly, they can make excellent pests. Although hedgehogs are most nocturnal, so if you're a light sleeper, they may not fit in for you. You may have hedgehogs smiling on your social media. As much as we love to think of them grinning back, it's actually a fold of a loose skin underneath the snout that creates the illusion of a super happy hedgehog. Hedgehogs do make really cute purring sounds when they are content. For more hedgehog intel and some seriously cute Instagrams, see page 42. Why? You know you're in the country when you're in the town in the new year by dropping a taxidermy possum instead of a crystal ball. Sarah P. from Tallapoosa, Georgia. Tallapoosa's tradition of lowering Spencer, the possum, is lighted ball dates around the 1990s, thepossumdrop.com. How do you know when you're in the country? Send a note to us at countryliving@hearst.com. Made in the USA. Former rocket scientist Jim Hammerman started his Rhode Island-based line of heirloom-worthy copper cookware, Duparquet, when he couldn't find modern-made copper pots and pans to rival the antiques he stumbled upon during a trip to France. 6-inch round au gratin pans started at $150. Duparquet.com. W for Wallpaper. Talk about seeing the writing on the wall. Andrew Martin's new collection scholar features the works of esteemed novelists including Jane Austen, Charles Dickens, F. Scott Fitzgerald. It's a natural fit for the reading nook. Cravat.com. X cross-stitch. Point yourself toward a new hobby on page 47. Z. Cozy up with the Kennebunkport, Maine White Barn Inn, recently beautifully redesigned by Jennifer Wolfe. AubergerSwords.com White Barn Inn. That's page 6. Okay, moving forward. Well, if you're interested about making a newbie way of life to the rural side, they give the Gone Country, the Newbie's Guide to Rural Life. In a recent Harris poll, 40% of city dwellers wish they were seriously considering leaving the city. If you're contemplating greening pastures, consider this your starter kit by Leigh Crandall on page 48. They show a bunch of nice houses in the area, or barns, if you will. Not in this area. No. They're in Terre Haute, Indiana, Byron City, North Carolina, Moderna, New York, Burkeville, Virginia, Turtle Creek Township, Ohio, and Barnesville, Georgia. Start your search. Many Americans are choosing to leave the high-cost urban areas, says Matt Frankel, the senior analyst for the Million Acres, a real estate investing service by the Motley Fool. He also notes that the massive millennials generations is researching its family formation years, and the pandemic has accelerated the desire for more space, and those looking to make the leap here are sites to obsessively refresh. Then the next page, on page 50 and 51, we have how country do you want to go? Your acreage expectations. Is it minimal or is it sweeping? Are you frequently filler status? Is it elite or meh? The idea of a septic tank makes you rethink. Feel like an empowered DYER. Your ideal weekend involves browsing a quaint bookstore, baking with fresh produce. Far as critter companions go, thinking cats, dogs, chickens, or sheep, goats, llamas. You'd rather receive your mail delivered to the door or at the local post office. Your grocery list includes quinoa, craft beer, and tempeh, or rice, PBR, and steak. Your last binge watch was the biggest little farm. I don't own a television. Would you feel comfortable? No, dear. Yes, dear. And it says that it's supposed to direct you to where you would feel like going when you follow all the points of light. CL's unofficial home name generator. Try these combos to design your perfect moniker. Like if you pick a dreamy adjective, you pick a flora or fauna, and you add your house style. Then you make it official. And you can say you moved to the Happy Oak Ranch, the Shady Lavender Farm, yada, yada, yada. Alasha Hessler, folks who've done it. How to move east inspired by a new business. 5 months after falling for her future husband at a party, Alicia Hessler left her corporate job in Seattle to move into a farmhouse with him in Camden, Maine. There weren't any decent prospect of jobs, so I knew I had to start my own business, she says. Unable to find truthful, accessible stories about others who made the switch from city to country, Alicia created the Urban Exodus. At the Urban Exodus, a collection of interviews, photography, and invaluable advice from rural small business owners. A book by the name followed, as well as the new Urban Exodus podcast. It's a resource for people who want to make the move, and I hope it will inspire them to do so. It's hard work, but it's very fulfilling. Learn to speak barn. Nice gambrel, dude. Here are some common barn-style names to help you sound like you were raised in or near one. Gothic. It's an AKA rainbow roof framed with the curved rafters wrapped with an extended roof. Gambrel. The roof sloped sides maximize internal space and help keep the snow from collecting. The Monitor. Ideal for farm equipment, the Race Center area also scores high for commercial potential. The Gable. Thanks to its simple, versatile design, this is the most common and affordable barn style. They tell you to invest in a chest freezer. Oh, this is cute. On page 54, they tell you to find your farm truck. It says, will you choose a Toyota Tundra, a Nissan Frontier, a Dodge Ram, or a Chevrolet C10? Personally, mine would be between two different ones. I know, I never thought I would say that. Chevrolet C10, because my family believes in Chevrolet. But the Dodge Ram is on Yellowstone. So who wouldn't pick a Dodge Ram? Just saying. Expand your country, especially if Rip Wheeler was involved. Just saying. Which I got to spend Valentine's Day with my two favorite hunks. Well, the night before, I got to watch Ryan Pavey on the Hallmark Channel. Thank you, Hallmark. I skipped the Hallmark movie on Valentine's Day and spent it with Rip. That's right. It was a Kevin Costner We Love weekend, but honestly, it was more Rip Wheeler We Love weekend than it was Kevin Costner. Just saying. So I had fun watching that, and that's what we're going to say. Expand your country airwaves. From the front porch, they tell you you can have a bookshelf and that kind of stuff. Gravy, the bi-weekly podcast, Following Harriet. I guess these are more like people that you could follow on your podcast. I don't podcast, though. Y'all just love me here. A designer walks into a farm supply store. Sure, you can feed and seed at your friendly neighborhood shop, but there's also plenty of style to be found in the aisles, too. The designer Michael Welch walks into the Talmadge Farm Agway in Riverhead, New York, and found a I'll say it right in a minute, hoop log holder, a wire egg basket, and burlap by the yard. The designer Paige Mullins walked into Gambit Farm and Feed Supply in Natchez, Mississippi, got herself a sisal rope by the foot, navy white bandanas, galvanized stock tanks, and designer Max Humphreys walked into the Wilco Co-op in Lake Oswego, Oregon with barn paint coasters and turnbuckles. Designer Leanne Ford walked into the Tractor Supply in Cranberry Township, PA. She got saddle strings, wood-burning stove, and canvas tarps. To find out what they did with it, you have to grab this magazine and read page 55. I know, how mean am I? Okay, yes, you're probably getting into it. Heed the expert advice before exploring popular pastel pursuits. If you're into beekeeping, the expert Hillary Kearney, the author of The Little Book of Bees, gives you a lot of research. If you're into cut flowers, Nikki Irvin, the author of Growing Flowers, helps you out. If you're into chickens, well, the expert Lisa Steele, author of Fresh Eggs Daily, helps you out. If you're into preserving, well, Anne Sakata Scott, author of The Farm Girl's Guide to the Preserving the Harvest, gives you some wonderful knowledge. I thought this was interesting, too. How to turn your city dog into a country dog. Set new boundaries, watch their weight, establish the outhouse, introduce them to the cows. That would be funny. Just saying. To see my little peanut being introduced to a cow would be funny. Anyway, know your late night visitors. Test your critter IQ. Which animals do you think these belong to? I honestly thought this looked like baby tracks. Doesn't that look like baby tracks? It really does. But it says it goes to a rabbit. And it says that number 1 is a raccoon. Okay. Number 3 is a deer. Okay. Number 4 is a squirrel. And number 5 is a fox. Amazing little paw prints, right? And that is all we're covering in the January-February issue of Country Living. So stay tuned. We'll probably do 2 more magazines, whoop-de-doo, this evening.